Hey guys, welcome to today's video on how to use your thoughts to optimize your health. So if you're new to my channel, hello, welcome. My name is Elika. I'm a trusted advisor and energy optimization coach for entrepreneurs and purpose-driven leaders who want to have more energy. And this is so that they can create more harmony personally and professionally and use that excess energy to make a bigger impact in the world. So if this is for you, then what are you waiting for? Subscribe to my channel so that you can be on top of all of the energy optimization tips, the lifestyle habits that I share with you to be able to create a lifestyle that leaves you in overflow in your energy. So let's jump into today's video. Now, the great thing about this moment of time is so many more people are becoming aware of the power of the way that they feel and their thoughts and essentially their mind in controlling their environment and the things that are showing up in their life. And when we study deeper into this, then we start understanding that we can actually really take control of our reality. And everything that we experience day to day can be heavily influenced by us if we are then the driver in the seat. And essentially, like I always love to see it myself as the director of my own movie. So how we deeply have to come to this is firstly to embrace some of the science that's allowed us to understand this. And that is a lot of the neuroscience. It's a lot of the science from people like the HeartMath Institute that have done numerous research papers available on their website that talks about the connection of the heart, the largest electromagnetic field in the body, to the brain and to the gut. And all of this science is really being shaped into some of the things that I teach with my clients to be able to create lifestyle habits. So one of the things to really first start with is this idea that we have over 60,000 thoughts a day. And what are really those thoughts? Those thoughts are coming from like a spark, an electron, like a spark that happens in the mind, and that chemical reaction that happens in our body creates a neurotransmitter, which is essentially a message, a transmission from the brain. And that transmission is like a flow of energy. And what that neurotransmitter does is it sparks other energy, which those other energies we refer to as emotions, energy in motion. And those emotions then govern how we feel. So from that thought, do we now feel happiness? From that thought, do we now feel frustration? Do we feel anger? So these are what's happening first. And based on those feelings, those emotions, then many of us then go on to take certain actions. And those actions then either serve us or don't serve us well. They either bring us more energy or they drain us from energy. So for example, one of the thoughts that I held for so long was that I had to work hard and not smart. So if you can imagine, every single time that thought popped in, I felt a deep sense of overwhelm, a deep sense of frustration. And my actions were to continue to add to my to-do list and try to do it all. And so we go from this thought to creating beliefs to creating actions. And when we keep on thinking those same things, what happens is those beliefs get so deeply ingrained. So it's like we're creating a roadmap for those neurotransmitters to go down. We're creating there's this concept that we talk about, neuroplasticity, the ability for the brain to change its thought process. But we're creating these really strong pathways so that those actions we continue. And it's those actions with that belief that created me not one, but 2 burnouts. And that's why I'm like the queen of overcoming burnout and also getting more energy and to avoid burnout. So that's really what this idea really stems from when we think about using our thoughts, therefore, to create our health. So the reality is, how do we go about changing the thought processes that we have to therefore have better health? So one of the best ways that I do that is by looking at every part of my environment. And when I notice my thoughts, I look at how do I change my environment to support the thoughts that I really want to help me and to support me. So the first thing starts with, I notice a negative thought, a thought that isn't really helping me. Now, it's very difficult to sometimes identify your own thoughts when you haven't, I spent years and years doing my inner work, but if you haven't worked with a coach, a very strong a facilitator of identifying your beliefs and your thoughts and your behaviors, then sometimes you don't even realize that there is that thought that is governing all these actions. But let's say for me, how it shows up now is I identify a thought. So a thought can be a positive thought. So for example, right now, it's coming into summer. Well, we're actually well into summer, but it's coming up to a period of time when I tend to take my summer holiday, which is a little bit later than others. And so leading up to that, I start thinking about my summer body. I want to have my summer body. And for me, one of the other thoughts I hold is that it's not sustainable for me to keep a certain type of weight all year round, but that there's a fluctuation, which for me is roughly about 2K, that I feel comfortable within. And so when I'm going on like a bikini type holiday, I definitely want to lose that extra 2K. And so that thought comes into my mind about, okay, that's all. And that thought makes me excited because I picture myself like on the beach, feeling good in my body, or my summer gear, or my clothing that I love to wear on holiday, or the clothes that I love to buy in like Europe, in the boutiques. So I get excited about all of those thoughts. But now I need to use that energy to create some actions. So one of the actions that I've done is I have a vision board that is visible in my room, and not this room because this is my office. And in my room, there's a vision board of my bikini body, my perfect body. And that vision board is available to me all the time that I'm in my room. So that is programming me subconsciously, because when I'm walking around my room, I just see it all the time. I also put the same vision board as an image on my phone as my wallpaper. So again, this is not like I sit and I manifest all that stuff. This is like consciously, I am making an action to subconsciously program myself with information that is what I want to receive for exactly what I want to experience. And that is that I want to see that body, right? So I do that. The other thing that I do is I look at what are the things that make me have that body. And so obviously a key part of that for me is my movement plan, right? So those of you that know my work for some time know that I refer to exercise as movement, because I think one of the other beliefs that I hold is that we need movement every day, and not necessarily sometimes an extreme, intense exercise regime that creates too much stress in our body, depending on our lifestyle. So that movement plan, roughly for me, when I want to stay very lean, is about 3 to 4 sessions of weightlifting, and that's a combination of body weights and dumbbells that I do in a home workout. It's also keeping very flexible, so I like to use yoga as my way to do that. And so I will do 1 to 2 sessions a week. Notice that I give myself flexibility for what comes up in the week. And then outside of that, daily walking. So daily, I actually set myself my goal. If the place that I'm going to is under 30 minutes, then I walk to it. And because that is one of the habits that I've created, I walk so much. And so what that does is that gives my body the movement plan that it needs to get energy moving through the body and to create muscle mass that also increases my metabolism, my body's ability to burn energy and fat, obviously, more efficiently. And then let's look at the other thing. Of course, then I look at diet, right? So for me, having a diet that's, pretty much working around 80% whole foods and 20% whatever I want. But even in that 20%, I do eat very minimally processed foods. So what I might find is, for me being lactose intolerant, that, cheese might fall in that 20%, or ice cream might fall in that 20%. And again, these are not foods that I'm consuming a lot, but I see them as my 20% because those are not the foods that really support my body, with me being lactose intolerant. But if you notice that even cheese is not necessarily a highly processed food compared to pastries or biscuits or shop bought cakes. So what happens then is, in that time leading up to that 80% becomes more like a 90%. And then I'm very much mindful about when I eat what. So for example, in the evenings, I'm not going to be eating heavy, which, this is something that I've built into my lifestyle anyway, so it's pretty easy for me to maintain. But then around that, what I tend to find is that what I also want to do is make sure that when I am eating foods, I'm eating to my natural biological cycle, which for women, that is 28 days. So what that means is that I have certain periods of time where I fast for longer, and certain times where I have shorter fasts, certain times where I know that I allow myself a little bit more carbohydrates. And then other times where, I really reduce the amount of carbohydrates and really focus on using fat as my energy source. So these are all the actions that I'm taking. My physical body, my environment with the visuals, my energetic bodies with the nutrients that I'm consuming that support my body. And this all comes from the thought that first came up. The other thing that's really important for me to do is when the thought comes up is for me to write it out. So I write a plan for this. I don't just leave it up to my mind to be able to create those habits. I literally will write around, okay, I have a desire, and the desire is I want to be in my bikini body and what the date is. Now, I'm the type of person, if I want something and I get very, very specific with numbers, like a lot of people do, like I want to lose 3 kg by this day, blah, blah, blah. My brain doesn't like that. Others love it. But what my brain loves is how I'm going to feel and what I'm going to see. So what I do is when I write out, I focus on not necessarily just the numbers, and I think those people that do really work well with the numbers should do that as well as this, but I focus on the senses. So I focus on, so what do I want first? What is my desire? My desire is to be in, a lean, strong, flexible body for my summer holidays. What does that feel like? It feels like when I put on my clothes, I just feel so confident, I feel lean, I feel light, I feel sexy, that's how it feels. What do I see? I see that I'm wearing bright colours, that my legs look toned in the pictures that I take, that I'm like beaming, I see that, when I walk down the street, people are staring at me. These are things that, some people will call this a little bit superficial, but honestly, I don't know anybody that doesn't like feeling good in their body, right? So, that's what I might see. What can I smell? What I can smell is, I can smell the sea, and I can smell the salt in the sea as I come lapping into the water in my lean body. What can I hear? I can hear laughter, I can hear the sea, I can hear the whistle of nature, I can hear the water slapping the beach as I walk down the beach, and in my summer dresses. These are all the things that I do, and that's what I write down. So I explore all of the senses, and when I do that way, I really am rewriting my story. And with that rewriting of that story, I take that and then I will record a short audio, and that audio is to basically to record me talking about that new story. I'm going to be feeling lean, I'm going to be wearing this, I'm going to feel this, I'm going to see this, I'm going to do this, do that, and it's about a minute long. And what I will do is, leading up to that, I will actually play that audio to myself. I'll play it in the morning, maybe I'll play it in the evening, maybe I'm going for a walk and then I'll just play the audio. It's a minute long. And what I'm doing is I'm literally creating those new sparks that send off those neurotransmitters, that create those feelings, that create new actions. That's what I'm doing to really use my thoughts to be in charge of my health. So I really want you to take that example and think about, how would you do this in all the other areas? How would you do this not just to lose weight? How would you do this to heal a digestive issue that you've had? How would you do this to look at an autoimmune illness or disease that you've incurred? How would you use this to help you with an injury? I remember having my Achilles tendon injury and not being able to run, and really visualizing all that strength going through that ankle. And when I was starting to get back into recovery, like feeling like visualizing the strength of the ankle as I was running. So how would you do this to imagine yourself having deep restorative sleep? You put your head on your pillow and you go to sleep straight away and you stay asleep. How would you do this in all of the different goals that you have for your health and well-being? So I hope that's been super helpful for you. I absolutely love using my thoughts to create my reality, which for me means optimizing my health by looking at all areas where my energy can be upgraded. And I hope that you love this. So leave me a comment in the comments box below. Any questions that you have around this, I'd love to hear them. So you can leave that in the comments. And if you think somebody else would really benefit from maybe an improvement in their mindset, share this video with me. And do not forget, if you are somebody that understands, just like me, that your energy is your most valuable currency, What are you waiting for? Make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you can stay on top of all of the lifestyle habits that I share, so that you can have the most energy and overflow to make the biggest impact to the world that you are here to do.